everyone, my name is Lisa DeNight. I'm an instructor with the Bryn Mawr Film Institute, and I'm back with another recommendation for the Monday night online discussion series. Now that we've all found ourselves in mid-August, high summer, I'm recommending a little vacation of a film, something effortlessly breezy and charming with a healthy dose of sizzle. It's The Lady Eve from 1941, directed by the great Preston Sturges and starring Barbara Stanwyck as a seductive con woman who targets Henry Fonda's bumbling herpetologist, that's a snake scientist, who also happens to be heir to a successful brewery fortune. The Lady Eve is one of the masterpieces of screwball comedy, a highly dialogue-driven subgenre of romantic comedy that rose to prominence in the 30s after the advent of sound in Hollywood and flourished into the mid-40s. For audiences during the Great Depression, it offered fun, escapist fare with all the snappy dialogue and double entendres, absurdist plots, mistaken identities, and battle of the sexes antics that were typical of the genre. The main structure of a screwball comedy is a love story between a man and a woman from different walks of life, usually different social classes, wherein one tends to inject total chaos into the life of the other. Yet love overcomes to bring the two together in marriage. While conscious or not, this type of happy ending conveyed a pacifying vision of unity to audiences in times of great economic turmoil and sharp social division. Not to make this genre sound too calculating, though, it had the capacity to be remarkably warm and humanistic, as well as sharply satirical. And Preston Sturges was perhaps the director most adept at delivering this crackling combo. Preston Sturges was quite the idiosyncratic director, partially because he wasn't just a director, he wrote many of his films as well, at a time when dual roles like writer-director were exceedingly rare in Hollywood. Sturges started off in the business as a screenwriter, but quickly got tired of handing his scripts over to another director just to be futzed with. So he finally got Paramount to let him direct his own scripts. The Lady Eve came out in the midst of an absolutely terrific run Sturges had in the 40s. He wrote and directed 10 films in this decade, and most of those 10 are still considered masterpieces today. In fact, in 1941, he didn't just direct The Lady Eve, but also Sullivan's Travels in the same year, another enduring classic of the genre. The Lady Eve stands alone a little bit in this run, though, because the original story didn't come directly from Sturges. It was adapted from a short story by playwright Monckton Hoff, but Sturges did change it pretty dramatically in his scripting of the film. Although he often quarreled with studios, Sturges did enjoy pretty impressive control over his work during this run in the 40s, and because of this, and his willingness to plumb his own personal life for inspiration, there are some recurring themes within Sturges's work, one of which is his preoccupation with appearances and identity. A mere change of clothes can change the person entirely. A sharp examination of the superficiality and immutability of the class system, wherein everything is about appearance, manifests strongly in The Lady Eve, where the title character is a complete fiction invented by and impersonated by Barbara Stanwyck's character, Jean Harrington. In fact, nearly everyone in this film has at least 2 different names, and there's a fascinating fluidity of identities and social classes. This extends even to the tone of the film itself, which vacillates between high and low culture, where you have slapstick and absurd pratfalls paired with incredibly literary and stylish wit. Another thing Sturges did well, shall we say, was absolutely rile the censors at the time with his blatant and honestly mostly positive allusions to sex. You wouldn't necessarily expect to describe a film made in 1941 during the production code era as sexy, but lo and behold, The Lady Eve is sexy. Practically every screwball comedy worth its salt had a dynamo double entendre or two to get the point across while skirting censors. But I am genuinely unsure how The Lady Eve actually made it into existence as it stands. Certainly the censorship boards had issues with the script, but even the rewrites forced on it turned out something that is still edgy. Roger Ebert actually referred to a certain scene in Lady Eve as the sexiest and funniest scene in the history of romantic comedy. It will perhaps be unsurprising then to note that Sturges also excelled at writing strong, smart, self-assured female characters, and Barbara Stanwyck in this film is the gold standard of that type. Her character Jean's self-possession and intelligence are celebrated and supported to the extent that she pretty much entirely drives the story here. And she's even gifted multiple times with the ability almost metatextually to direct the film herself. There's an amazing scene early on where she's watching Fonda's character, Charles, surreptitiously in a hand mirror, and we watch everything she says playing out in that mirror. She's literally holding the film in the palm of her hand. It's sort of interesting that these types of attributes in women, intelligence, wit, drive, sexiness, would soon come to form the basis of the film noir movement's Femme Fatales, like another iconic Stanwyck character, Phyllis in Double Indemnity. Although these femme fatales usually had to be redeemed or more often punished by death to restore order at the film's end. The final Sturges trademark I will tip my hat to is how richly populated his films are with background players that are just as integral as our leads to the whole experience. Like modern directors Wes Anderson or Adam McKay or Jonathan Demme, Preston Sturges had a stock group of character actors that he loved and worked with time and time again, like William Demarest, who plays Muggsy in this film, and worked with Sturges on many others. While Stanwyck and Fonda are both the shining stars here, I think you'll all come away with some strong affection for at least one of the background players too. So you'll find Lady Eve available for viewing on a couple different online platforms, and I really encourage you to join me and Bryn Mawr Film Institute's Senior Director of Education, Andrew Douglas, as we discuss this film next Monday, August 17th at 6:30 p.m. Until then, bye.